Why Ilya Kovalchuk?
I think he's a good fit for what we need. I think we, he's an established player. So many good reports and viewings of what he did in Montreal. We think he's a fit for our team. We think he can add a lot offensively, playmaking. So many good things have been said about him on and off the ice in Montreal that we basically thought it was a no-brainer to add him.
Will he play on your power play or maybe PP2?
He might. I think that's an option. I think the good thing about the acquisition is we can move him around. I mean, we can play him in different spots. He's a power play player. He's probably a second power play player for us unless, something's going on, we want to change it up. We can start him in our bottom six. We can move him up for shifts, depending on the coaches. I just think it gives our coaching staff a lot of flexibility to use the player.
Where ideally would you see him in the lineup?
I'd probably start him third line right wing. Start him there, see how it goes, and we can move him around.
What was Ovi's reaction when
Yeah, I think Ovi's been good. I mean, obviously they're good friends. They know each other really well. I think they talked beforehand about they'd like to play together, but I think he had a good approach to it and saying, if it makes sense, I'd like it to happen. If it doesn't make sense, then it's not meant to be. So he kind of had a mature attitude about it.
What have you seen from the third line? What would you like to see forward?
I think the third line's been good recently. I think the intention of it, the way we put it together, wasn't going to be as offensive last year, but you could trust it more against top six players from other teams. They've had reasonable offensive output and played a pretty solid two-way game for most of the year.
Is this potentially a change in philosophy there?
It could be. I mean, we don't have to go with it. I mean, I think the Kovalchuk thing gives us just options to, if we need offense, we can use him in that situation, and if we don't, we could just leave the line the way it is.
It sounded like from his end he wanted to come here too. I guess they gave him kind of a choice. Does that kind of add to the bonus the guy really wanted to be here?
Yeah, I think he views our team as having a chance to win a championship, and that's his main priority. I think he likes the style of play that we had. I've talked to him a couple times about accepting a role, and he's pretty clear in his mind that he'll do anything as long as he has a chance to win a championship.
you on the phones much today?
Yeah, a little bit. We checked in on a few things. I mean, a lot of calls last week and previous weeks too. Checked in on a few things today and played them out as much as we could.
Could you have brought another player on board without parting with salary, or were you?
I think we would have had to part with salary.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you come close to anything, or were you just?
I mean, you're always close. No, I think, we're satisfied where we're at right now. Added two, what I perceive to be good key pieces, and we made our team better, more well-rounded and deeper.
Did yesterday's win have any influence over, how you approached?
No,
last night today?
no. I think, our intention is always what's the best thing for our team.
Yeah.
We can add a guy that makes our team better and deeper and give us a better chance to win, we're going to pursue it.
After 3 games with Dillon in the lineup, are you overall satisfied with where?
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I thought he had a great game against Pittsburgh. Jersey game, probably didn't get used as much. And, I think he's added physicality. He's added good puck movement. His first pass has been good. Seems to be fit in really well so far. It's not easy to just come into a new team and fit in, and I think he's handled it pretty well.
Brian, when you consider doing any of this stuff in midstream, how much evaluation do you put into fit in the room, disrupting the lineup, guys getting knocked off roles in midstream?
Yeah, quite a bit. I mean, you got to have the, especially with Kovalchuk, I think Dillon was going to fit. It just seemed like it was going to fit. I think having conversations with Ilya about, will he be willing to accept a certain type of role? I know in Montreal he was playing, probably a little bit more than he's going to play here, and would he be able to you know, accept that role and be okay with it, you know, and he's pretty clear in his mind that he'll do whatever is asked of him.
Brian, what do you make of the kind of unique season that Kovalchuk has had? First, things not working out with him with the Kings, and then the sort of turnaround that he had really fast with Canadian.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult for me to analyze what happened in LA, not being there, and his situation. I mean, he was available for all the teams in the league. And because of that experience in LA, I think, you know, one team took a risk on him. And to completely turn it around the way he did, to be as productive and to have as much impact as he had on the Montreal team, both on and the off the ice. You know, I think their manager, Bergevin, he couldn't say enough good things about the character of the guy and the way he handled himself in Montreal.
Did you have any interest when he was available?
We talked about it quite a bit, but it was tough to get a read, you know, where he was at, his game, because of the experience in LA. And then at that point in time, it would be tough for us to fit him in for the cap. I mean, we're getting him at half of 700, so it's a little better doing it now than back then.
Well, in his prime, he was close to some very similar player to Ovi. What is he now?
I think he's, you know, I think he has a little bit more speed than we think he has. He's just a lesser version of what he was. I think you'll probably see glimpses of what he was at that time. I mean, he still has good hands. He still has a good skill level. He'll probably score some good goals and make some good plays. Probably not as, you know, consistent or in the amount of when he was in his prime.
So with him joining the third line, that'll push Panik to the fourth line.
I mean, that's a coach's decision, what they want to do. I imagine they'll try different combinations there.
Overall, though, it adds more depth to that bottom six, which will allow
Definitely.
Todd to play them a little bit more,
Yeah,
which will lessen.
depending on the lineup he wants to create, he can, you know, move bodies around.
Right.
Brian, what challenges are there for coaches in moving guys in that haven't been here, particularly in the prime like Kovalchuk?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you want guys to be comfortable with their roles and ice time, and you want them in the right frame of mind to fulfill their potential. And I think sometimes, you know, you got to sell them on maybe you don't play as high or as much as you might somewhere else, but the goal here is to contribute to a team, and our team overall will be better off if everybody accepts their roles, and you have a better chance of winning a championship.
You made a ton of moves at the deadline over the years, some that have worked out, a couple years, Keston, those guys, some, you know, Shattenkirk that didn't. Do you see part of it as sending a message to the room that we're good enough, we're adding pieces, now you guys just go?
I think the managers feel pressure. If you have a good team and you want to contend, I think you feel pressure to add at the deadline. You know, I think, you know, the team expects you to, all the players want you to, and the better players you can add, you know, the more satisfied they are. I don't think it's, even if it's not the best deal you can make, I still think it sends the proper message, and the players expect you to, you know, contribute to the lineup.
Were you surprised with how much movement there was around the league, particularly in the Metro?
Metro was pretty active.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good teams in the Metro, and we're all pretty close, talent-wise. You know, I think it's a tough division. Each team could beat the other team on any given night, you know, given good goaltending, and I think every one of these teams thinks they have a chance to come out of the Metro, which I believe they do. So consequently, I think you're trying to see, you know, how do we fill out our lineup, how do we maximize it, and I think every team in our division did it.
How much more competitive is the division now after the moves? You see Pittsburgh gets Marlowe, Carolina gets Brady Shea.
Yeah, I thought we were all pretty close going into it. Now I think we're all still close, only better teams, you know. I think everybody did a good job in our division, and it's going to be hard to get out of it.
Did yesterday's win make you feel better about some things? Maybe it didn't impact your
Yeah, I think it was an important game for us. It was a big game. You know, we were sliding lately, our record and our habits, and you see a lot. You see a lot of the improvements in that game. I mean, I don't think it's where we want it to be going in the playoffs, but it's a lot of the things that we've been lacking in the previous games were corrected in that game. So I think we're trending in the right direction, but I still think we got a ways to go to be playing the right way.
Brenden, because you've gone through slumps like this before, or just lulls that are kind of inevitable over 82 games, when you're enduring them, does that give you a comfort level that it's going to end at some point, or is it still kind of agonizing to watch it?
Yeah, I don't think you're ever comfortable with it. I think you got to, take a few deep breaths and look at the big picture, and kind of weigh how we were playing at the beginning of the year. And we went through a lull here, a slide, and probably the way we've been playing. I think when you're successful and you're doing real well, you're leading your division, habits start to slide a little bit because you can cheat a little bit because you got a little cushion and you're winning games that maybe you don't always win. And slowly that builds up, and all of a sudden you find yourself, we need to address these things. And hopefully we're doing that right now.
How did you approach the deadline in terms of having star players who are a little bit older and wanting to win now, but also putting value on the future assets?
Yeah, I think we always struggle to, what we're adding versus what we're giving up. So I thought it was important that we kept our first round pick. We had an extra, third. Did we want to spend the second? And I think if you want to add players at the deadline, you got to spend seconds and thirds. And it's whether you want to do the first. So we're trying to balance improving our lineup and then still giving us the ability to draft some higher end players.